In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the principle and quote, words are spells, and how embodying the essence of what you need to be precedes external results. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. Here's 3 things you'll discover today. Number 1, the meaning behind the ancient word abracadabra. Number 2, how to embody the essence of your truth rather than just wanting it. And number 3, why frequently we get so gripped by words and language. When we look at the quote and principle, we don't need to overreact. When I say words are spells and abracadabra, meaning I create as I speak, we don't need to lose our minds over kind of making this bigger than it is. On one end, your thoughts are built via words. So the words that you use, the thoughts that you choose, if you're honest with yourself, you'll see that your thoughts have an effect on your actions. And your whole life is created via your actions. So that's kind of a simple math equation to see how the things add up to create the sum. Now, on the other end, you have this kind of carelessness, which is just the words don't matter that much, magic isn't real, spells, that's all weird. And I very much hear that. So that's why I kind of have the disclaimer of you can take this as seriously as your spirit is going to let you. It's not about kind of identifying with having abilities or anything of that nature. Every human, this principle, this quote, is coming down to affect every single human, whether you like it or not. It's just the matter of what a human being is, in that we are conscious and we have our individual sense of self, and therefore we think in relationship to that individual sense of self's knowledge, experiences, which then form memory. And so much of thinking is going to be related to one of those pillars, knowledge, experience, or memory. So ultimately, it's a compounding effect. Just try to execute this, right? You walk around all day saying, I'm scared of this, I'm not worth that, I insert negative variables, and then you walk around the other day saying, it doesn't even have to be, see, this is where it's not the opposite that's good. It's not like, oh, I'm great, I'm unstoppable. Like, sure, you can have that sort of confidence, but the true movement of a free mind, of a aligned mind, realizing the power of the word and the link to creation is kind of just learning to appreciate the things that are God-given. Right? Like, even my background screen right now, as I record this video, it's a beautiful landscape. And even human-built architecture. You just start to appreciate the things that you would otherwise be too busy self-obsessing over your own negativity to see. And you begin to see the beauty in the everyday movement. And what that does for you, it kind of allows for you to embody that essence, where the external results that you desire, they do come to you, but they come to you because you've learned to enjoy the beauty of being truly alive. They come to you because the universe feels that what you're going to do with the resources that you receive is great. The universe, you yourself, through an embodiment of alignment, starting with the word and the thought and the action, that entire feedback loop, you send out the right message. It's unseen. Sometimes it is seen. It's holistic. You can't kind of just say it's any certain way. But you live a life of goodness through starting with the simplest thing, right? The word and the thought and the compounding. That allows for you to really have that essence of, man, life actually is good. It's good. And it doesn't have to be overly complex. So when we look at point number one of what you'll discover today, okay, the meaning behind the ancient word abracadabra. When we take this a bit more seriously, you see abracadabra is defined as I create as I speak, meaning that every single word that you speak has power. And it's extraordinarily important to learn how to not only expand your vocabulary, but to expand your worldview. Because the vocabulary will come with the expansion of your worldview. But what that looks like more practically would be a true honesty around every second, meaning that when you are doing something that your ego or the mind may act like it's no big deal, whether that be taking an hour to watch television or whatever it is that you're specifically choosing to consume, right? It's not the message that screen time is horrible or the scrolling is just terrible. It's also about what you click on, what you entertain. Um, if anything, your digital environment should be conductive to your truth, to your values, to what you actually care about deepest in your heart. Not your distractions, your pleasures, and your weaknesses. But oftentimes that's what our digital time gets wasted. So when you make that awareness adjustment to realize, okay, the things that I think, the words that I use, it's not just like a choice of willpower. It's a environmental choice. It's how you position yourself, where you go, what you say no to, what's the nature of your ecosystem, right? Is your house organized? Can you open up a drawer and know what you need to get and where it is? um this is a holistic thing. It even comes down to the something maybe some people would say is shallow, like hygiene, but it really isn't, because you can start to see, all right, if words are spells and I create as I speak, then everything is interconnected in some way, in some manner. So how you treat people, how you treat yourself, what you consume, the list goes on and on and on. The message, really, let's use point number two to explain. Point number two says how to embody the essence of your truth rather than just why. Now, what I said before, you can get your desires, but your desires need to come to you in a manner of alignment, where to embody the essence of your truth, you stop living so much in the place of, I don't have what I desire. I need to insert willpower to get those desires. Rather, what you change is you learn how to let go and you filter what you really desire. Because if you do not learn how to let go, then you'll end up pushing via willpower to get things that you thought you wanted that you actually didn't need. So there's this process of wisdom that kind of cracks you open, and you learn to see what you actually are meant to do, what your destiny is, what's most worthwhile for your time on this planet. And therefore, that compounds your intuitive relationship with yourself, your own consciousness, the source, and you learn how to dissipate the weakening aspects of the soul and the being. And as you do this work, you are kind of aligning with the bigger main reason of why you are actually here on this planet. So, with that bigger picture, kind of ancient alignment, you get the present material and external alignment as well. Because there's a quote on my wall, and the world is not as it is, it's as you are. So, this is why we speak about abracadabra, because how you are is built upon words, thoughts, and how you conduct your consciousness. So, what we're really talking about here is how to become a maybe master of conducting your own consciousness as a individual self in this world of unity. And let's hop into point number 3 to expand further. Why frequently we get so gripped by words and language. Exactly. Especially with the seemingly obvious differences of the external world. For example, you could insert culture, race, language, skin color, all of these differentiating factors that are obvious to the material eye. And so that brings us to this place of man. Are we divided? Right? We're all seemingly different. But if you learn, you pay attention, you observe your thinking, you do the changes, and you realize that you can choose a healthy, free, enjoyable, strong life, or you will conduct yourself into the darkness, right? And even in the darkness, that tears you down just so you can enter back into the light. So ultimately, we're in this vortex. It's a cycle. It's so intelligent and beautiful. That's why it's hard for people to wake up and see with the real eye, because they're on the external kind of world. There's so much going on, so many different things going on. Whether it's career or all the other examples I labeled before, you have school choices. You know what I mean? The list goes on and on. And we tend to kind of forget how to remember the wisdom that we have inside because we move so fast. And that's what leads us to get so gripped. Point number 3, why we get so gripped by words and language? Because we move so fast. There's so much going on. And inevitably, the nervous system learns to adjust because you can be overstimulated for an extended period of time, and some people never make the change, but other people do realize, man, there has to be another way of living, right? For me, it was I felt sick of being sick and tired. This terrible kind of compounding of my busyness, of my lack of space inside my heart. So you inevitably kind of make a change. You're just forced to make a change, invited to make a change. And that helps you see, oh my, this egotistical illusion can be quite strong, really. So you start to decipher what triggers this strong egotistical elastic band-esque reaction. The triggers could be, again, various. So much going on in the world. Any human who is honest with himself will start to realize, wow, there are a lot of different ways that this egotistical tension can be triggered. So, one of the components to the way that the ego works, you already know this, is words and language. So then you start to see, man, it's the words, it's the language, it's the tones of voice. It's the choice that I make to even put my attention on a place where I can already understand there are going to be triggers, right? So the essence of change in wisdom is learning how to position yourself wisely, where you're going to have to go throughout the world. Wisdom, truth, intelligence isn't about hiding. Some people may have a path of, you're in a cave and you are emanating a frequency, and that's the type of person you are. Others will have to be out moving through this world, building actively. Therefore, you're going to have so many interactions with all different types of people in their journey. And some will be childish, immature, dark, there's childish in a beautiful sense, free, and then there's childish in a immature, reactive, egotistical, very self-obsessed sense. So the list goes on, right? It could give you examples for days, right? An encyclopedia of different formats of triggers. But ultimately, you start to position yourself with intelligence. You're aware of these relationships between stimulus, words, environments, choices of where energy is invested, and you begin to change. You just sharpen up because you see time and time again, man, I am the conductor of this thing. I'm the one doing it. So even when you get something done to you, there's still that role that you're playing. Like if someone does something to you, sure, no matter how bad it is, it's there and it's over, and hopefully nothing of a egregious manner occurs. But I guess the bigger picture, let's hop into the recap. The meaning behind the ancient word abracadabra. Words are spells. I don't love the word a spell, so that's why I make it very simple, practical, not woo-woo for you. But I create as I speak. Your words lead to your thoughts lead to your actions create feedback loops to more words and thoughts. So at some point, we have to become aware like, hey, I'm not going to put my energy, I'm not going to put my attention on certain environments. One very specific example is I'll tell you, I still listen to people like Wu-Tang and some rap, J. Cole every once in a while, but man, you got to be aware of the unconscious and subconscious influx of energy when listening mindlessly to new rap music. You got to see that subliminal message that is being ingrained into you, even if you think you're just having fun listening to some music. Look at life a little closer, baby. So, I'm sure you're wise enough to understand that as well. But when you stop reacting and defending who you think you are, the words you use and the tones you use, they change drastically. Now, number two, how to embody the essence of truth rather than just wanting it. You must embody the essence of what you need to be, and your external life will feel the commitment that you've made to unraveling who you are. And point number three, why frequently we get so gripped by words and language. We're so used to reacting constantly based off our identity that words can almost grip us. You must realize that words are just forms of communication and let go of the resistance that arises when words trigger you. Summary: unraveling the illusion of identity allows you to move with unstoppable light, and your energy will manifest in ways that you cannot logically perceive, confirming the path you are guided on. Thank you so much for listening. Genuinely, I appreciate you. New episodes are out Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And have a great day.